Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And as you can see, it is Monday, and that means the one and only Greg Dickerson is behind us. Folks, if you're not following Greg Dickerson on YouTube, you are truly missing out. He covers topics that I, frankly, cannot cover all the time. So, Greg, how you doing this morning?
Doing great, Michael. Good to see you. You know, I've got the whole world behind me, and you got me behind you. So, man,
we're done. Yeah, I got the man behind me. Look at this. I can make this move around and stuff. It's really cool. I wanted to show people all the stuff I've added to the office that I have no idea how to use. No idea how to use. So
yeah, it looks like you got an official quiet podcast room there.
I do. Yeah, a couple walls, all insulated. It's all cool. Well, yeah, folks, awesome. Warren Buffett had his Berkshire Hathaway religious come together party, whatever you call it, and the way he puts things, very kind of grandpa-like, very simple, but I don't want to be confused. He is ruthless, right? He is a capitalist. And one of the things that I thought we should really be talking about today is he talked about how to beat inflation.
Well, you know, the biggest soundbite that came out of that meeting this weekend?
Oh no, which one?
So Warren Buffett looks at Charlie Munger and says, you know, between the two of us, you got 180 something years up here. We're both in our 90s. And, you know, when you have two guys in their 90s running your company that you're investing in, you might want to come see them live if you can, because that was the first live meeting they've had in a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a blast, right?
Yeah, they're a hoot, man. They're funny.
Yeah, they're funny. The thing that I want people to realize is Warren, again, I think they sat for almost 6 hours and took question after question after question. And the one I want to focus on today is near and dear to my heart. I actually have a shirt that says, I beat inflation. Warren Buffett was asked, what is the best way to beat inflation? In tried and true Warren Buffett fashion, his mind is still sharp. There is no question. And he said, basically invest in yourself. Become the best at whatever you do, right? The best always have power, will always have. And I talk about being close to revenue, right? If you're impacting revenue, you're going to be okay. So what do you think about that advice? I've known you for quite a while. I think you agree, but I'd love to get your opinion. How do you beat inflation? Invest in yourself. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You know that I talk about education, self-education, personal, professional development. I mean, that's what I'm all about. That's how I changed my life. Yep. And that's what I tell everybody else. It starts with yourself. It starts up here, in here. You got to change that stuff first. You got to build and educate yourself and develop a skill set that represents value in the marketplace, or seek out big problems and solve them. That's how you make money. And, you know, as far as inflation hedge goes, I mean, the best inflation hedge out there is a big pile of cash, because it really doesn't matter. If you're liquid enough, I mean, it doesn't matter what inflation is. You know, you can hedge yourself against inflation by having enough cash and or assets. From a passive standpoint, I have my ideas there and thoughts on the best inflation hedges from a passive investment or an investment standpoint. But ultimately, if you can make money in any economy, any environment, then that's the best inflation hedge there is. And it's also the best job security. That's the line I've always used, is the best job security you have is in yourself. There is no such thing as job security. It's not like you go to college, get a good job, and retire 30 years later and the company's going to take care of you. Those days are long gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think a lot of folks, we have 3.6% unemployment. I think there will be a lower print on Friday when the jobs number comes out. It's going to be, recessions typically occur actually at the bottom of the employment market, right? So again, I see one ahead of us, and people really do have an opportunity today with technology and applications to really add a side hustle or other thing. You're an entrepreneur through and through, always been one. I am not, right? I'm an employee and maybe an investor. And, folks need to realize you can take your passion, interest, hobbies, whatever it is, and make that something else.
Well, forget that. Take your job. So, you're an MBA, okay? Mm-hmm. And we're in a time in the world that we've never seen before. It's never been easier to create income out of what you already do as an independent contractor. So you were in sales, right? Mm-hmm. So the world, the way it exists today, it didn't before. You had to go to work for that company.
Yep.
But the way it exists now, you could do exactly what you were doing there as an independent contractor, 1099 employee, and call your own shots. With a lot of companies right now, because so many companies are looking for employees and they can't get them. So there are more and more companies are seeking independent contractors, and you work, from wherever you want at your own hours. You just have to produce. The company doesn't have to pay you, doesn't have to provide benefits. So what we're seeing now is the great resignation is getting greater. More and more people, knowledge-based employees, are leaving the workforce and they're starting their own business, doing what they did professionally. They're just doing it as consultants or independent contractors and things like that. So for anybody watching, if you don't like where you're at in your career, go do it on your own. You can make more money. You can call your own shots. You can work from wherever you want, doing whatever you want. Now, it can be a passion. It can be a hobby. It can be whatever. I mean, you can make a business out of cooking if you're good. But again, you have to be good. You have to, hone your skills, hone your craft. You got to get yourself out there, put yourself out there, depending on what it is. But most people don't realize whatever you do professionally, as a professional, and even, in a blue collar world now, you can do on your own as a business for yourself. And that's what I love teaching people how to do, man. Go out and carve your own path, create your own future, and do what you love, not what you have to do. Because I did a lot of what I had to do a lot of my life until I could do whatever I wanted to do. I know the difference.
Yeah. So we're going to make Carve Your Own Path video number 2, because I want to dive into that nugget next. I want to round out this discussion, try to make it actionable for someone. Let's assume they have a full-time job today. Let's assume they're married or in a relationship, right? Life is busy is what I'm trying to paint the picture of. How do we, what is a couple of things that people could do today to invest in themselves to, is there 1 or 2 skills? I know I have a couple that I think are investable, but I'd love to hear your ideas first. Where do you kind of point that person today?
Yeah. So, so I guess you're talking about if somebody wants to step outside of the W-2 and create their own business. And
or they've realized that's what they want to do, but they feel like they need a couple more skills or they need to become better at something. Are there kind of those tried and true skill sets that maybe people invest in first? Maybe you're a college student coming out. Just what are some key trends you think or traits or skill sets that you think people can invest in?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, because, it depends on what you do and what you're good at and all that. I mean, you got to know what you're good at, and you got to know what your limitations are, and you have to know what the marketplace needs. So sales, number 1. I mean, everybody, sales and marketing first and foremost, number 1, because no matter what you are or what you do, you got to put yourself out there. You have to get known. So you really need to develop sales and marketing skills. You need to develop your mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, meaning, when I say mindset, what I mean is if there is something you want to do and you immediately say a reason why you can't do it or why there's no opportunity or why it can't happen, that's a mindset problem.
Yeah, for sure.
There's never been a greater time in the history of the world where, there are no limitations and you can't fail. I mean, this is like a TED Talk, right? So what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you think you would be if there were no limitations?
Powerful.
And then think about this. What if I tell you, you can't fail? There are no. So when you think from that perspective, that's a mindset thing, because you can't fail in this day and age right now. And there are no limitations within your, God-given talents and abilities, physically, mentally. I mean, I'm not going to be, rocket scientist. I don't have that kind of mental capacity, and I'm not going to go throw touchdowns for Tampa Bay like Tom Brady.
Right.
But there are things within my own, abilities that I can take to the next level that I can do that are unlimited. So within your potential, as a biological human being, you have unlimited upside.
Yeah. This again is 100% Mr. Greg Dickerson, entrepreneur through and through. As a sales guy, as an employee, I think there are 2 things that I think are investable for the average person. One is public speaking. The ability to be comfortable in front of people or a large group is powerful. And it's shocking how many people are frankly deathly afraid of that. So I think that is absolutely investable. And then back to selling. It's something I've been doing since I was 15 years old, selling on commission. The best salespeople can story tell. people remember stories because you often feel them, right? Those are two traits that I would tell, whether you're a college kid coming out or you want to do something, but you're not sure what. If you could improve public speaking, storytelling, I think regardless of what you do, next is pretty powerful. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And, selling to me, so, a lot of people, I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to sell. Everybody's in sales. Everybody's in sales. You don't have to speak in public, but everybody's in sales and everybody has to market. You are a brand, no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So what you need to understand about sales is selling is serving. You are providing somebody with something they don't know about or something they need, or an opportunity or whatever it is. So, when you think about sales as a service, you're solving problems, you're creating opportunities, it kind of changes the conversation. And depending on what it is you're selling, but I'll tell you, salespeople are some of the highest paid people in the world. And if you're going to get into sales, go big ticket. Don't spin your wheels selling smaller items or working in environments like a car dealership where you're limited. You can only do so much because they're not going to let you scale that. Yeah. So you need to go where your upside is unlimited in terms of scale, where you can build a team around you and you're unlimited in what you can produce and you're selling big ticket. That's where the big dollars are. Now, we need sales at all levels. Not everybody's right for those things, but if you have the capacity, you're coming out of college or whatever, changing careers, and you want to go sales, go big ticket, focus on those things, study sales, develop your skills. It's communication. Selling is relationships, it's serving, it's communication. It's not the sleazy salesman thing like some people teach and like what you think, and you have to have these scripts, if this, then that, or if they say this, those types of things. But there are some things that you need to know, about sales. And, the other thing that I would say for people stepping out of college is where you can really educate yourself is, in trading, whether it's stocks, cryptos, whatever, because with the reset of the markets, we're going to come back to a huge opportunity, generational wealth creating opportunity for people in the next bear market, where people make the biggest mistake is that they play too much now in the down markets and they don't keep enough liquidity ready for the bull market. And that's where, a lot of people miss out. So don't be afraid to miss out on trades today or opportunities or whatever today, because you need that for the bull market later.
And folks, you just heard what topic number 3 is going to be about. We're going to dig into that segment next. Do me a favor. People need to be following you. I have your YouTube channel behind me. Where do we want to send them besides the YouTube channel?
Yeah, gregdickerson.com. All of my social media links are there, and everything that I do, School of Entrepreneurship. If you're ready to get out and take on the world and create your own path, carve your own path, I've got courses on all kinds of stuff. So go check it out.
Folks, we're going to dig in episode 2, Carve Your Own Path. This is fun stuff for me. I hope you're enjoying it. Thanks, buddy.